Go live. Okay, sorry about that. I was talking to myself for 2 minutes there. Could someone just confirm that you can see me and hear me? YouTube gave me some weird error and said something like live streaming unavailable right now. But I think I got it. Let me actually go and hello, can see and hear. Thank you. Yeah, just popped up a big box and it said live stream not available right now. And I just ignored it and then clicked OK. Okay, so everything is working, and hello to everybody. 1 second, sorry guys. I just always have to be cognizant of what you guys see and what you guys don't. So I did that there. Okay, that worked. Sorry. All right. Hey, Sam. Sorry about that. I was just writing. If you guys didn't see, I was on that Trader TV live stream today, and I'm just getting permission from them now to use the clip for my own stuff. So I was just writing them an email. So if you missed it, just pay attention to the channel. That'll be up sometime, I'm sure, on the weekend or early next week, whenever that happens. Sorry, I'm going to do this one more time. There we go. Nope, not that one. That one right there. There we go. All right. So let's just get right into it. I've wasted enough time. So how I usually like to start these is I go over all of the short videos that I did this week, all the symbols that I was watching. Then we'll take a look at the markets, both the equity, crypto, and going to start looking at FX markets because I've started trading FX myself. So we're going to take a look at that, and then we'll go through and we'll try to scan for some symbols for next week. At that time, that's probably when it's going to be best to ask questions. I'll sit and I'll go through some of the symbols that you guys are interested in taking a look at. And then what I do for you guys who don't know is I have a website, link in the description below. And that one is basically taking a look at, sorry, someone messaged me. Yeah, so I have a website and we have a pro product, and that's where the output of what you're about to see me do, I write up into a nice little blog post and get sent every day for like $1.50 a day, right? So it's $50 a month. On top of a live chat room, not a signal service. I don't call out stocks. We chat about the market, ideas, right? I'll look at charts for people, things like that. Then we have a monthly Q&A webinar that goes for hours, and I'll just answer any questions anyone has there. And access to all my scans across Trade Ideas and TrendSpider. And then when I'm working on some really cool algos too, that will be exclusive to StatsEdge Trader people. They're going to be swing trading algos that basically look to enter end exit in that last hour a day, so it'll be perfect for people who have jobs or other things. And I've been trading them myself over the past month. The guys will tell you some of the results of them have been great, especially when you consider the time work. I actually like it better. I'm finding that my win rate's improving only looking at swings during that last hour, and then the day trades and the rest of them. What are you doing, girl? Zena. Hi. Say hi to the people. Paw. You do paw? Touch. Good girl. Okay, go lie down, girl. All right, so let's go through. Oh, she's about to be needy. I can tell. So let's go through all of the ones. There was less this week. I did one and actually did pretty good where I just turned on the camera. The paper scare you? You big scary pit bull? Oh, the paper scared you again. Yeah, I did one midday where I just talked about when the market was selling areas that I was interested in, and just looking at the stats, that was actually like the most liked video of the week. So I may continue to do those if you guys have feedback on that. It might be I might like it better as opposed to these structured short videos. Just if I see something, turn on the camera, talk about it, hit upload, away we go. So LNTH was no, we talked about that one last week, right? We were looking for it to break that line. Obviously, never did, but that was last week's. ADTN was one. ADTN. Oops. Okay. ADTN. Sorry, I'm on experimental builds. Yeah, with ADTN, I was looking for it to break on this bar right here over this channel. That did happen. I think I got in. I can't check right now because I definitely got back out. I'm 90% certain I got in this day and then back out the next day for a small loss. A, B, and B, I know I didn't take this one. A, B, and B. Yeah, we were looking for this one to break and hold above this area. Never did. This, I think, is most of them. ABCL, never took this one either. But I do like the look of this still. As long as it kind of holds above or at this area right here, that's where I'm interested. Just to see, I call this like the higher low play. You trade something and it gets, you look at this, there's your low, and then you get a lower high, and then a lower low, and then a lower high, and then a lower low, right? So obviously, without a doubt, in a downtrend, I don't like to buy things in the downtrend as a revision to the mean upwards. So what I like to do is have them settle low, bounce, and then pull back and look like they're potentially making a higher low, and then go from there. And then you're kind of getting the turn that everybody wants, the buy low, sell high, but you're not bottom fishing. You're not just saying, hey, I want to just entirely I'm not just bottom fishing, right? Because I find that has really poor results over the long run. Some people can do it well, but it's one of those recipes for disaster. And then yesterday's was Dlpn. Basically, I want to see this one close kind of over this area and then the stop here at 10. So it didn't trigger today, but if it does, I still really like the look of this one. Basically, just because I'm hearing a lot more chat about NFTs, and this insanity that happened before was, remember the original when NFTs were going to be a thing and change the world? That's when that was crazy. So I'm just, if NFTs are going to perk back up and people are going to be super interested with that, we'll go from there. Okay, I see your feedback there, Sam. Yeah, I'm thinking of, it won't be every day, but yeah, I'm thinking of just, I liked this is something I saw on the market. No edits, no nothing. Turn on the camera, upload, fired on Twitter, fired on, I don't like to tell people, but I do have a TikTok, and it's actually hilarious that my videos do better on TikTok than they do on YouTube, but I'm just too embarrassed to promote TikTok. But yeah, and I just like the concept of these short videos, and then my plan is to do a little bit longer stuff down the road. I've got a cousin, nephew, who's into video editing, so I may, for school projects and stuff, give him some videos and have him do that. But yeah, that's what happened this week. Basically, a whole lot of nothing. We had some great ones. We had PLXW was definitely my PXLW was obviously my trade of the week, right? We bought PXLW right there at 325, and I sold my first chunk at the end of the day there. I haven't really zoomed back on this one. Yeah. So what next highs over, if we get over 4.5 is 5.5. But that was amazing. We had a couple really good ones I can't think of right now, but that was that. And now let's go into the markets, starting with crypto and equity markets. So let's start with crypto, BTC USD. So looks like we're maybe getting through this area. We're still struggling at this resistance area right here. Again, if you guys don't know, this is the system I do my technical analysis with on Forex and some certain things that trade ideas don't have for stocks, but mainly Forex, crypto, the instruments that trade ideas doesn't have access to. It's called TrendSpider. Link is in the description below. Always like to do the full disclosure that that's an affiliate link. So, right, I don't want anyone to. I use them and then I reach out to them to be an affiliate. Is always the order that things happen. But I really like these guys just from cool stuff that they're doing. So, anyway, you can see that this gray box that I drew in was this prior support area right here. It's acted as resistance. I actually took a small short in that area. Was hoping to see if we would pull back into it, but we didn't. We bounced back up, so that was a break-even trade. So Bitcoin's been doing fairly well. Now, if we look at Ether, Ether's actually been underperforming a little bit recently over the last few days, but still overall way closer to its all-time highs than Bitcoin, so stronger there. The real crypto, the one that's been on fire, is this ADA. And I'm watching this ADA. I haven't checked. I don't know if anyone else has a Kraken account, whether you can short in Kraken just for a trade. If this thing cannot close at this level, I may just take a short there with a stop up there. But to be honest, again, I haven't checked whether I can actually do that with Kraken. I can short most cryptos with Kraken. I just don't know if I can specifically do ADA with Kraken. Basically just looking to see if, right, we can get a little revision, right? Not looking for the end of Cardano or anything, but I'm a trader, right? So I just want to trade it. I want to trade all of the things. So the other one, take a look at, which I am in, is the Doge. Again, I'm a trader. I'm not saying that I think Doge is going to be the thing. But for people who follow the stream, I was talking about this on the stream a little bit, is that Doge is, Doge is, might not be an actual thing. Like I wouldn't be shocked this thing go to zero, but the way these markets are, especially crypto, I wouldn't be shocked if this thing goes to $100. So again, no opinion on it, but what I was noticing is crypto rallying, and then I was noticing that this was breaking out through here, and we had this igniting bar they like to call it in technical analysis, and then we had this sideways chop. So I accumulated a bunch during this sideways chop. Stop was just going to be kind of in this area, and just anticipating the breakout. That's what we got. From a percentage gain, it's great. The position's not huge. I think I have 20,000 Doges. Is that even... How do you even say that? I have 20... What's the plural of Doge? Doges? Doji? Doji? Yeah, there we go. So that's right. Crypto obviously strong. If you're in cryptos, if you're in any single one of them, I would just watch the new the most recent high, right? So Doge is obviously the furthest off its all-time highs. Bitcoin USD, right? This is the all-time highs. Just watch these numbers until we can kind of get up there. It's it is what it is, right? So let's take a look. Again, I'm not going to go through all of the Forex pairs, but just the ones that are interesting to me and trades that I may have taken. Again, I just recently got into crypto trading, so I'm no master here, but technical analysis seems to apply the same way technical analysis always applies. So on the pound dollar, the lingo I'm going to have to get. Pound dollar, I actually bought some pound dollar kind of in this area right here. Basically just looking at, if we go out to the daily, just looking at this big area of support that went in through here, a big move down into that. So I'm just looking for a kind of a short-term bounce on this one. Main reason for entry on the 1 hour chart, which is just the time frame that I trade, is you can see the RSI pushing higher at the same time price was pushing lower. So we had a little RSI divergence there. That was about it. And then I'm also playing a lot with, where is it? No, not AUD CAD, USD CAD. And the main reason for this is I'm Canadian and I trade US equities, and my consulting agreements and affiliate deals and all this pay in US dollars. So ideally, I want the Canadian dollar to be worth about 5 cents per US dollar. That would be fantastic for me. Basically just watching, right, big strong push out. If we go into the daily on this one, we can see we kind of had the anchored VWAP from, hey Grant, we had the anchored VWAP from this high. It struggled with that for a while, but then once that broke, all of a sudden, right, we had this massive move. So this is coming out of kind of a big rounded bottom on the dollar. This line right here is the anchored VWAP from this high. I still don't exactly know how Forex works for, hey Eric, I still don't know how volume works for Forex. Again, just very new to this. Just started trading it. But basically, I'm just watching this pullback. So if next week we get a pullback, I'm watching these kind of rising AVWAPs, seeing if I can get into this pullback for continued higher. But basically, that's all from the crypto space, or the FX and crypto spaces. Let's take a look. Let's go over to trade ideas now that we're going to talk about equities. Let's take a look at here, and let's go into the RSP. So the RSP is what I'm looking at way more than the SPY. The SPY, here, and I know I show this every time, so some people might be bored of seeing it, but if we go to Koyfin here, not affiliate with Koyfin. Everything I am affiliate with, you'll find in that Linktree link under the video. And I've showed this before, but if we go to the SPY and then we look at the holdings, you can see that most of the SPY, like is Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Google, right? These big names take up, I think, like 25 to 30% of the SPY, Where if we do the same thing with the RSP, which is the same companies, it's just weighted differently. So you can see this is the RSP, right? And yes, it needs to rebalance. There's some things that are a little bit over to this side and some things that are a little bit over this side, but most of it's clustered around. So it's an equal weighted index. So where the SPY has been in this massive uptrend, I've been hearing from traders all the time that, oh, my swing trading strategies are so much harder than they used to be, and all of this stuff is a big kind of pain in the ass. There we go. Remove some of that slant. Everything's so much harder than it used to be, but the market's going up all the time. What the hell's going on? And then I say, well, look at the RSP, which is basically been in a range for the entire year. Broke out, came back to retest the range, epic bounce off. So, right, nothing there other than bullish action. If you have a resistance area that gets broken, you almost want it to get tested to see if it acts as support. So far, it has, right? Again, anything can happen, but so far, it's just been a breakout, retest, and then maybe a go from there, which is important why you ignore all the bears that pop up on Twitter every single time the market down ticks a bit. And they'll have their moment to say, I'm right, and someday, if you keep saying that the market's going to crash, you'll be right. But the real question is, how many times are you wrong before the times that you're right? IWM is still holding the support down here. So I'm kind of watching this to see. Obviously, the IWM, which is our small cap stocks, are way, way weaker than the SPY. Just incredibly, incredibly weaker than the SPY. Again, I will go back. I just want to draw in one thing real quick into here. Yeah. So if you guys don't know about the anchored VWAP, definitely check out Brian Shannon from alphatrends.net. He is the godfather, whatever you want to call it. He's kind of the master, the creator of anchored VWAP. But essentially what it's trying to do is it's just like a lot of day traders use VWAP for their intraday trading. Anchored VWAP is the same concept, where it's trying to essentially find where is the average price of the average market participant. So think if you were to, the way we should do for investments, think of if you were to cost dollar average into a position, right? You just bought, a little bit every day, and then you just averaged in, right? Just get out my trusty iPad here. So yeah, if you were buying the IWM kind of this entire time on the way up, this purple line right here would be your average price. And what Brian noticed, and I agree a lot with, is that these sometimes or often act as support and resistance. So you can see the support that happened here and here, right along that anchored VWAP line. So if this holds, I think it'll be great. If this, reverses and breaks down, then the IWM may be the reason that the rest of the market tanks as well, because, it's just kind of one follows another. So if we take a look at this, and then let's go, don't save, and then we go back to the RSP, then with the RSP, you can see how much stronger this has been. Again, what we're looking at there is we're looking at this. I drew this out already, but kind of this level right here, where it was resistance here and here, and now it's acting as support right there. If that continues to hold, that's great. But again, you can just see the difference between the two charts and how your small caps have not been doing well and your large caps have been doing much, much better. Even though this thing is in a range, just like the small caps is, this range is existing way higher in the market. So for us to technically ever enter a bull market or a bear market, and for me to start to worry from the long side, it's this lower line right here that we'd have to break, right? Other than that, if we just get back into that range, then we're just back into a range, and it's not uncommon to see the market in a range for a long period of time, especially after like a double off the lows, which is what happened recently. All right, so that's kind of what I'm thinking about the markets. Very strong action. Small caps having a bad time as they normally do. Let's take a look at. I love this right here that Koifin has. And again, if I always like to explain these again for the people that are new, and if you are new, say hi in chat and hit the like button. Everyone, please. The algorithm loves that. Welcome. But this is basically a breakdown. So you can take every equity in the SPY or in the S&P 500, and you can break it down to their sectors, right? What sector are they in? Basically, what do they do? And this chart basically is the last week of what happened in the market, right? And then from this, you can start to glean a little bit of what's causing a rally or what's causing a sell off, right? XLE is energy. Hey, Raz, how's it going? You can see the XLE is getting killed, right? So that's our reason for probably the pullback. Again, you can see the gap down and then the huge kind of sell off that's going on here. So XLE, I should always say XLE is energy. So think oil, natural gas, right? Things like this, companies related to that. That's getting killed. And then I always like to look at what's leading the market, right? So the things that are leading the market is the utilities here and healthcare, right? And then let's look at the next one down, which is XLRE, which is real estate. So these are all flight to safety plays, right? They're plays in which essentially you're looking at, if people really want to swing for the fences in the market, you'll see XLK, which is doing very well, but you also see XLY up a lot. XLY, think of, people buying stuff they don't need is your XLY. And right, we're not really seeing that as what's leading. We're seeing more defensive names leading. So it just means that if of the stocks you're looking to buy, I would focus more on energy, let's just do that. I would focus not on energy. I'd focus more on, your boring names, your big box retailers, your REITs, things like this are going to be doing way better than looking at small caps, which again, there's still opportunity in all of these things, obviously. But small caps, for example, we said are the weakest. And then these things right here are just showing us that, hey, everyone's, the market's strong, but people are a wee bit nervous about things. So not insanely strong. And then let's go to the old Forex Factory. I think I've gone to this website, not every day, but often for years and years and years and years. Since I started trading prop, probably like 15 years ago, I've gone to this website a lot. Just forexfactory.com. I don't know how they make any money or what the deal is with them, but they do a great job of showing just showing what's going on in the market when it comes to news. And these little things right here, they're color coded based on how much they'll generally move the market by how much people care. So if you're in Europe, right, you've got some big manufacturing numbers coming. But from a quick look, I can see that there's not a whole lot in America for Monday. There's this one right here, which I think is big. And then, of course, you need to use your discretion, right? So when I look at news events upcoming, I also look at what are people talking about in the markets, right? So for right now, everyone's talking about inflation, what's the Fed going to do, and home sales. Those are the biggest things that I think we're talking about. So we are getting something that could be related to inflation here, and we are getting home sales right there. So there will be some news. It's not like Fed minutes or CPI or anything like that, which I think would be much bigger, but some news to do on Monday. So lastly, I want to take a look at the XLE because we saw that getting hammered and just try to see what we could look at for potential bounce areas. Because if the weakest of the market bounces, then you would expect everything else to bounce as well, right? If you bring up the lowest hanging fruit and everything else was already strong, I would be willing to bet. Again, I'm not a news guy. I don't think there is any predictive value in looking at the news at all, but you can't help but see what's going on in Afghanistan. So that anytime there's Middle East conflict in any way, shape, or form, you start to see some movement and energy. Again, I don't think there's any value to talk too much about that, but this. All right, there are some levels of interest that we got to look out here for the XLE. And just like, we're looking for to see if it bounces. If it doesn't, that will tell us as well. So I drew in another one of those anchored VWAPs from this low right here. And that's corresponding to exactly where we are. I'm pretty sure, and someone correct me if I'm wrong, but in the Stats Edge Pro analysis that I wrote up for you guys last night, I think I noted that already. And it just seems like it's continuing to hold. Lastly, I would look at, so that's a little bit lower, but you can see there was some resistance right there, and there was some consolidation right there, and we're sitting a little bit above that now. So there's some kind of confluence of support and resistance in this area. So basically, I think if XLE is going to bounce, like we could probably do something like that and just look at this gap. Right? If it's going to do something, if it's going to bounce, it's probably going to be here, or it's going to take another pipe down to maybe that area at 40. So room to drop if we don't hold on. Obviously, right? Lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. We're in a downtrend here, right? So I wouldn't be bottom picking oil stocks right now, but some areas of interest for the XLE. All right, let me grab a sip of water here. So, to summarize, basically, cryptos look bullish. A lot of things are outperforming Bitcoin. That could go into a whole debate later. But that's just the way I see it. Pound dollar, I expect to bounce off that level. Could not happen. Again, you never know. A lot of these things are going to be COVID and Delta variant dependent, whether or not the countries are going to lockdown or not. USD CAD, again, USD CAD is basically like what we're looking at here with the XLE. If CAD tanks, then the XLE was probably tanking as well, just because in Canada we make most of our money from oil. So that's what for the equity markets. Again, it was a bit scary this week for some, but basically just a pullback into this base and then a bounce. Right? Ooh, not now. I don't want that. So so Bitcoin or crypto strong, equities still strong. Looks like it's an everything rally. It might just be TINA, right? TINA just stands for shit. What does TINA actually stand for? Stock market TINA. What's the actual acronym? There is no alternative. Right, and it's just a stock market phrase that says, with interest rates at near zero, where the hell else do you put your money? All right, cryptos and all this. So that's what I'm thinking there. I'll continue to look. Yeah, there's no alternative. Yeah, so basically everything I'm looking at, it's looking strong. Again, I showed you the areas to watch for the Stats Edge Pro member guys. Don't worry, that's what you guys are paying for. So that will all be written up in a nice little PDF and fired off to you like it is every single night. So before we get into scanning, I feel like I should plug my stuff. I hate doing this stuff, just FYI, guys. But why not, right? So what Stats Edge Trading is not an alert service. I will not tell you what to buy and where. I don't think that that's a thing that makes any sense, but website in the description below, statsedgetrading.com. You go here if you want to try Stats Edge Trading Pro. It's right here. Link to my trading tools right here, and then a free course. This will always be free. There's no gimmick or upsell or whatever. It's 39 lessons of me and teaching my wife how to trade from beginning to end. So 39 lessons. First one's what is a stock. Last one is like building a plan based off statistical and technical and fundamental analysis. Again, free. Thank you for Trade Ideas for doing that. So if you want to say thank you to Trade Ideas, you can try a month in the description down below where there's a link. And then Stats Edge Pro will get you, when you sign up, we'll get you here. And then this is what the nightly watch list and analysis looks like. So I send over this, right? So I typed in with Bitcoin, engulfing Kindle might continue uptrend, and then we know what happened with Bitcoin today. Let me get out of your way there. Right, I talked about all-time high battle, exactly what happened, popped through and pulled down. Doge, watching for Doge to continue the trend. Again, so far it did, but Doge isn't really interested. Equities trying to climb out of the support zone. Again, I was very right on this one. I'm obviously not always right, but so I'm watching the support area. Oh, and I did the anchored VWAP. I drew a little bit wrong, so I didn't draw it right there. And then talked about how there was no news and to watch that energy continues to tank. Looks like death. I do these late sometimes, so they're a little bit. So yeah, I did draw. Sorry, yeah, I did draw in the anchored VWAP from lows holding. Stocks to watch, right? I put out. So this is, the one that the video is made of will always be there, but then I always do a handful of others that I'm interested in, right? Areas to watch. I did pick up that DVAX today. It's the only one I went. This will then link to a Google Doc that will show you kind of where everything, just click on it. Just click on it, Mike. Right, so it just links to this Google Doc that will just, all the Stats Edge Pro people have access to. Areas to watch, again, not an alert service, but just areas to watch and stocks I'm watching. And then a little summary of kind of what I'm thinking of the market down here. Yeah. Someday, buying this dip will stop. Doesn't look like it will today. So, right, I said trading is all about doing what's working over and over again with good risk management till it stops. Tomorrow and the weekly candles close is going to be important. So, again, that's kind of what you'll get. That's part of what you'll get with Stats Edge Pro. Let's go back here. You also have, is that not a link? I feel like I should know this stuff because I built this website. But yeah, then you'll get access to all my scans right here and then a members chat right there. Going to add another one here where I'm going to post the recordings for the last Q&A webinars, and that will also be where the new current Q&A webinars is. So again, if you're interested, come give it a shot. It's $50 a month, no commitment. Buy it for a month. If you don't like it, not that one. That one. If you don't like it, just cancel. That's right? No harm, no foul. If you feel like your $50 wasn't even worth it for the scans or anything, just email me, right? I'll I'm not that guy who will fight. So now we have 20 minutes, and that's, I was told by the wife, going to be the time that she's home with pizza. So as soon as she's home with pizza, you guys are dead to me. So in the meantime, when you guys are not dead to me, if you have any questions, do I have a winning percentage? My win rate, I'm always open. My win rate's 55 to 60%. I don't think really anyone has a bigger one than that. But again, from what I'm giving the members, there is no win rate recording because it's not an alert service. The point of this is not to say, hey, you know, buy this stock, right? I don't do that. And I don't think anybody should look for somebody that does that. And that's why I'm like real, almost dickishly animated about it, because the people that do that, they lose, right? And whatever. But the point is, what I hope is that, again, the analysis of the market, I think, helps, because even to this day, I do my own analysis on the market. And then, I watch that Brian Shannon's video that comes out every week. I watch it every week, right? I do my analysis first, and then I look at other people's analysis. So for me, $50 a month for that alone is more than worth it. But, I just give all these other things on top of it because I want everybody to get something. But the point of it is hopefully that you learn how a trader does things, I guess, for lack of a better term, and then you can utilize that in your own trading. Now, if you like the stocks I'm watching, I almost said picks, but they're not picks. But if you like the stocks that I'm watching and you want to take them, great. At the end of every day, which is when I do all my swing trading, I come into the Discord and I usually say, hey, so today, guys, I bought this, I sold this, I covered this, I did this. Again, not to have anyone follow me doing it, but to say, oh, I can see why. Like I know Sam, PXLW, has a note on his monitor now, because again, this came through that algo that I'm building, which will be part of the membership once it's completed. I'm going to ask the people in the Q&A whether they're ready for it or not. But we picked that up at 3:25. I know he got out that day and I got out that day, and I was just right this time. But that spurred him to look at the way he exits trades. And that's the kind of stuff that I really like, right? It's like, this trade is irrelevant and every trade in by itself is irrelevant, right? But, you can, the fact that you got a learning lesson out of that, I think is way more than worth it, right? So I'm going to start scanning. And in the meantime, I like and I've learned more from you, especially those lessons. Oh, awesome. Again, I'm glad you like it. That intro to trading course is always going to be free. And the reason that I think it's free, and there's places out there, and this is not to crap on anyone, but there's places out there for that course that I did with my wife that would charge you thousands of dollars for that. And I think that's horseshit, because it's kind of just a combination of things that you could find online, right? And yes, it took a lot of my time. My hope is that people will buy Trade Ideas and Trend Inspire and everything you see in the link in the description below, and that will help me out for that. But I just don't think that the very basics in this day and age of the internet are really worth charging. Whereas this other stuff that takes more of my time and has a closer look into my trading, that's the stuff that I think is, and again, I'm not going to charge thousands of dollars for it. I'm going to charge $50 a month and with absolutely no commitment. So if you no longer get value, I hope you tell your friends on your way out, kind of thing, but that will be the end of her. That's the plan with that anyway. So again, as I scan through, ask questions about all of that, and ask questions about whatever stock you want, trading things, whatever. And again, you'll probably see that one fly out of the room, and that will probably be when Jess is home, and that's when I'll wrap it up at the same time because I am hungry. So first stock request here I see is Kara. Interesting. I think 15's your number, right? 15's a big deal up here, and I think 15's a big deal back here. So if you're buying it at 14, you've got that overhead. I like the engulfing candle. I like the RSI divergence. I don't even know if you noticed that. That was going on here. Right? So I like all that. I would just say you've got kind of a seemingly a brick wall right here that you got to get through. You could buy it here and then, maybe have a little bit of room into the brick wall. Just not for me. Oh, you saw me on Trader TV too. That's great. Didn't get any promotion personally out of that, but it was for Trade Ideas, and I think that did great. I don't want to see that. I don't like to look at my viewer count. A, I don't want to cry, and B, I don't want to get fixated on it. All right, so let's go through as... So basically what I'm doing now is I'm just scanning, right? And I use Trade Ideas. TrendSpider, I do a lot of the more advanced technical analysis on and things like that. Trade Ideas is my scanning tool. It's just far better overall at that. So often I will do my scans across. Oh, that's interesting. Bolt. I'll do a lot of my scanning with Trade Ideas, and then I'll go over to TrendSpider if I want to do any more advanced technical analysis. But for most things, Trade Ideas will handle it all swimmingly. Yeah, I think this is one that I'm interested in. Let me pop that. So I think I'm going to add this one. Low volume, so just a bit of a warning there. I see 260. Average daily volume, 150,000 shares. So be careful with that. But I'm looking at here the RSI divergence. I've been playing with these more and more and more, and man, they're working very, very well. But basically, an RSI divergence is just saying we're pushing down on lower momentum. It's taking lower momentum to make lower lows. So sometimes running out of steam. Then you could also say that, right, you got a double bottom potentially here. And then the double bottom would be complete if we break over kind of this line right here. So with Bolt, what I would do is I would just watch to see if we close above that resistance. You're wrong under this candle if you want to be really tight, or probably under that candle if you want to be a little bit looser. And then you're just trying to see. So this is the anchored VWAP from this high, and that gets you to over $20. So, after a few days, maybe it lands at 20, which from a percentage gain is very nice. So Bolt is something that I am going to watch next week. SPWR, another request from chat. You got, you're at support. You're at support for sure. So, you got a lot overhead, right? And one thing to note is as the XLE, which we talked about, goes lower and lower and lower, basically you got to think of solar and EV type stuff as kind of inversely correlated to into dirty oil, right? So if oil spiked through the roof, and say oil was trading at like $1,000 a barrel, you better believe companies would get really quick on innovating electric solutions to things as oil gets cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. and natural gas and all these other energy things, they're going to be less motivated to branch out. It's going to be cheaper for them to stay where they are as opposed to innovate. So, I would watch that. For me, I would just wait to see if this triangle breaks. But if you want to take a shot, right, if you're under $20 for any length of time, you're probably wrong. And I like any trade that knows that I know when I'm wrong. MNMD MindMed. Full disclosure, I own this chart, and this is one of the reasons why I use TrendSpider for things. Just because the chart's way different. So MindMed, just because MindMed traded before here too. MindMed's a psychedelic company. I just want to go over all this because, full disclosure, I am an investor in this, and I have been since around here. And I bought, I think, a little bit more in the threes, which isn't looking so well. Just a long-term hold. I like the story. They're basically trying to solve depression, anxiety, all of these things with psychedelics. Again, from the daily chart, I really don't see much. As a trade, I wouldn't really be interested. As an investor, I'm waiting for it to get back up here before I purchase any more above 4. But basically, the reason that this chart is longer than the trade ideas chart is that it was uplisted. So it was a pink sheet, and it's a Canadian company, so I own the TSX version of it anyway. But it was on the OTC market, and then it got upsold or uplisted into the the dog took off. Jess must be home. And then it got uplisted onto the NASDAQ. So again, my investment is not looking as good as it was, but again, that's like in my retirement account, I put enough into it that if it goes to zero, I'm not at all worried about that. It's, again, just an investment. All the dogs are going to bark now. So I'm going to go through this list, and then I'm going to take off after that. So get your questions in. Also, for any of the Stats Edge Pro guys that are here or watching this after the fact, the email for the next Q&A webinar went out yesterday. If you didn't get it, just DM me in our Discord room, and I'll get you that link. It's going to be Wednesday next week, right after the close. So again, ask questions. If you did get the email, reply to that email if you have any kind of detailed questions that you want to ask. Where, you can ask them on the Zoom call, obviously, and through messages there. But just some people I know like to ask them more anonymously. There's that HYZN again. Yeah, so just ask the questions, and then I'll answer them in detail. And remember, it's a bring your own beer event. We just sit down. The first one was 2 hours. The second one was 2.5 hours. So they're long. They're long sessions. This MYGN is great. This is another one from that last hour, Trader Algo. Remember, we picked it up right there. Right there, I think. Or right there, I can't remember. Somewhere in this area. I was about to kill it because it wasn't being nice, but we ended up finally getting a lift off there. Everything looks kind of extended, eh? A lot of pharmaceutical companies. I know I don't need many because the stuff that I already have on my watch list still looks good. So I'm not gonna kind of mess with that too much. Jeez. Ooh, I like that. 13% short float. I like the... Right, we gapped over resistance here and here, and then it held as support here and here. So if we can kind of get back over this area, then we could take a run there on that one. QLYS, and we've got a 13, oh, 14. 14% short. So a little bit of a short float on that one. I got feedback from one person. I figured I'll talk about a little bit here, but essentially was just talking about the price of the stocks, and I was able to give some knowledge that helped where the price of the stock is irrelevant, right? Especially in the day of fractional shares. You know, you could buy half a share of a company if you want, but really all that matters is what did you invest and what was the return of that. Under the desk. Under the desk is the best place for dogs. All right, guys. So I don't see any more chart requests in there. I went through there. I think that Bolt is going to be the one that I'll make the video about. That video will be up on Saturday, so pay attention for that on the channel. I'm just done today. Same with the Stats Edge stuff. I will do all of that on Saturday as well. So, and I'll always tell you guys when that's up in the Discord room. So I will let you know when all of that's going on. Just a long day and a little bit tired, and I smell pizza, so I'm going to go do that. As always, thank you, everyone who's come by. Thanks for watching me on Trader TV, if you did. If not, that video, hopefully, he says he's going to fire it over Monday morning, the recording. I was going to splice it down myself, but they said for legal reasons, they want to put disclaimers on it, which is totally understandable. So that should be up on Monday, and you can come check that out as well. On your way out, for everyone who's here, if you could hit the like button. YouTube emails me, I think, once a week and says, hey, you get way more views. To your view to like ratio is messed up. Ask them to like, and the algorithm will like you better. So, again, thank you all for coming out, and have a good one. And I will talk to you soon. Get some nice rest this weekend.